Hey, what's going on everyone? It's Stranger and welcome to another YouTube music production video. And in today's video, we're going to be walking you through the basics of FM synthesis. I've been getting a lot of requests for that, so I thought I'd show you the basics. But before that, just a message from my sponsor, DistroKid. For those new to DistroKid, they're a music distribution company that gets your music out to all the major platforms such as Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, and they recently added TikTok as well. So it's a great service, and one benefit is that you only need to pay an annual fee. They don't take a commission, whereas a lot of other companies will charge a fee as well as take a commission from your sales. However, the benefit here is you get 100% of the profits from your music revenue. Also, if you sign up with the referral link down below in my comments, you'll get a 7% discount on the first year of subscription. And you'll also be helping me out because I get a commission from every subscription. So if you want to get your music out there to all the major platforms, I encourage you guys to sign up with my link below. You'll help me as well, and you'll also benefit by getting all your music out to all the major platforms and receiving 100% of those revenues. All right, back to the lesson, guys. And in this video, we're going to be using FM8 for our tutorial. Now, FM synthesis could be a bit confusing because it does get a bit scientific, and personally I struggled to understand it for many years. And just quick shout out to Tier Kahoot, who gave me a refresher a couple years ago, and that really helped me understand the principles. Now, the first part of understanding FM synthesis is you have a number of different oscillators, and each oscillator can be used to either create a sound or modulate another oscillator. Now, I'll demonstrate this with here in FM8, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 oscillators represented by A to F. Now, X, that's a noise, and Z, that's a filter, so we'll ignore those. Now, currently F is being sent to the output here. At the bottom here is the output at 100%. So when we hit the note F, then we hear this sine wave. Now with FM synthesis, there's two main terms to understand with regards to the oscillators. There is a carrier oscillator, and then there's a modulator oscillator. So the carrier is the one that creates the sound, and the modulator is the one that modulates the carrier. Now let's say we want to enable oscillator E here, and we want it to modulate F. To do that, we go in this modulation matrix here, and we click and drag up. So now it's telling E to modulate F, and it's at 100, meaning it's modulating at a full intensity. This just refers to the volume of E. So when we play this, now we get this sound. What's happening is E is modulating the frequency of F. Now the next step is to understand how E modulates F. And a good way to understand that is let's look at what's happening in oscillator E. So instead of modulating F right now, I'm just gonna turn it off, and then I'll turn off F by right clicking, and then I'll click and drag up on E. I'll turn off the F as well, just so it's not confusing. So this is E. So it's also playing a sine wave. Now this ratio parameter affects the pitch of your oscillator. At 1, nothing happens. Whatever you hit on your keyboard, you'll hear as well. So I'm playing an A note here. Now if I hit the ratio 2, whatever frequency I'm playing will be multiplied by 2, which means that the frequency doubles. So in essence, it'll jump an octave. So 1, 2. Now if we go up to 3, if I hit the key of A, it plays the note E. But if we go up to 4, then we'll hit A again. So it hits up another octave. So every time you double the ratio, you move up an octave. So let's say if I go up to 8, then I'm at A again. Okay, so now we'll enable F again, and I'll bring F up to 100, and I'll turn E down. and I'll be modulating F again with E. Now I'm going to show you what happens when E is at a very low frequency. Well, at 0 it won't do anything because waveform is pretty much canceled out. Let's watch as I slowly increase the frequency of E. So as I increase the frequency, you start to hear E modulate F, and it performs kind of like a LFO where it's hovering up and down and manipulating the pitch from high and low. And you can see the waveform here where the cycles of the wave are closer together and then they go far apart again. That's just the low frequency oscillator moving the pitch from fast to slow, right? Or high to low. Now what happens if we keep increasing the frequency of E? Eventually the E will be modulating F so fast that we won't be hearing the fluctuations anymore. And instead of hearing the fluctuations, you're just hearing harmonics added on top of the F. Now the next step is to understand the amplitude of the modulator. So currently the amplitude is at 100. Now what happens if it's at lower amplitude? So I'm just going to bring my frequency down again so you can hear. So right now at a full intensity, the pitch goes up and down like that. But what if I bring it down? You could say that the pitch modulation amount decreases as you decrease the level of E. Now with FM synthesis, we tend not to play with lower frequencies because that's what LFOs are for. So we tend to play with higher frequencies, anywhere from 1 and up, where we get more of those harmonics. And that's pretty much the basics of FM synthesis. With FM8, I like to then modulate the intensity. So if you were to go like, you can get kind of like wub sounds like that. Now it'd be silly to have to manually do this to get that sound. However, there's a benefit here that each oscillator has an envelope. So you can then drag this guy here. Now maybe I don't want it at full intensity. That sounds pretty good, right? Maybe I can add some effects. So that's pretty much the basics of FM synthesis. You just had to remember that you need one oscillator that's a carrier, so you send that to the main output on the bottom here, and then you modulate F with another oscillator, E, and you determine the amount and also the pitch of E by using the ratio here. And then you can play with the different waveforms, which we'll get more into in future lessons. But essentially you can get additional harmonics by changing the waveform for either the carrier or modulator. So let's have a recap. So the first step is to make sure that you have a carrier oscillator. So that's usually the F oscillator, and send that to the main output. And then you go to modulate F with a modulator, which is E. And you determine the amount by clicking and dragging up here. And then lastly, you set the frequency of the modulator. And then you can add modulation. You can control the envelope of E. There you go. And then you can have a beat like this. So I hope you guys found that helpful. I just really wanted to get the basics down for you guys. There's definitely infinite amount of possibilities once you get these down, and we'll definitely be getting into part 2 once you guys get that down. And if you guys found this helpful, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to visit my referral link for DistroKid. And until then, we'll see you at the next video.